on the season following their 38-14 victory over Indiana in Bloomington. And Coach Schambach, the word was early in the week, you told the team we have to get off and get going early.
Start fast.
They certainly got it started in a hurry.
Well, we hadn't done that this year. You know, we'd always started off slowly, made mistakes, ended up going in at halftime with trailing or just a slight lead. And so our cry for this week was start fast.
Why was it important to you against Indiana to get going early?
Because you're playing on the road. You're playing against a team that feels they have a chance for an upset. You have to take over that stadium and make sure that they understand from the very beginning that you're in here to win the game. And when you start fast, it takes them right out of the game quickly.
Well, there's no question your opening series, your offense was dominant, and you let them know early that we're here to play, especially on the ground.
Well, we got field position early, Jim. After we kicked to them and stopped them, and they punted us, we had good field position. Jamie Morris broke a play up the middle here for good yardage. And but that was key, having field position, making a big play right there, and then Gerald White breaks out up the middle here for a good gain. We're down in there close, ready to score.
And you went over the middle throughout the entire first drive. Was that planned?
Right. We were going to run on them some, and we wanted to improve our rushing game in this ball game, and decided we were going to run more, although we got 300 yards passing.
Had to be pleased with the defense. Came up with big plays against a team that averaged somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 yards offense.
Right. They had moved the ball almost every one they played, and very well. But we got a key turnover here. Came back again. Jim throws over here to Jokic down to the 20-yard line. So we're down in there ready to score. 3rd and 2, the option play. Jim comes out here and showed great unselfishness there. Should have run in himself.
Would you have rather had him run in himself?
I mentioned something to him about I would appreciate it if he'd run it in himself. But that's one of those things. Under pressure here. The quarterback throws the ball. Garland Rivers intercept for Michigan. Second turnover, and that's we're ready to roll again. This time, Jim bootlegs out there and gets under some pressure here. Scrambles, throws the ball out here to Gerald White. Did a good job of moving around and throwing the ball and getting us out of trouble. Screen pass over here to Jamie Morris, goes down the left sideline here for a good gain. We're down in and around the 15-yard line again, leading 14-0. And on a give to Bob Perriman, our big fullback, he blasts in to make it 21-0.
That was out of the wishbone with 2 split receivers, and they didn't go to any goal line, so that play was in there all day.
That's right. When you split out there, you can run or pass, see, so you can't go into a goal line defense because they'll end up throwing the ball. Thomas Wilshire in the game now, tailback for us, Jim. Had a good run there. This is throwing out of the wishbone look here. Jim scrambles around, does a great job getting the ball to Gerald White. I thought that was a tremendous play. That's what I like to see him do, move around in that pocket and hit him like that. Here on a tight end delay, gets the ball to Jeff Brown, and Brown picks up a key first down for us.
They did a good job stopping your running game a little bit, and then you went to the pass, and that was in there.
Right, that's right. Jim rolls out here, hits John Colasar for a big play, knocked out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
Offensively, you got everything going your way at this point.
Right. Bob Perriman dives over the top, and the score goes to 28-0.
Now, 28-0, you're thinking, well, wait a minute, this is not the same Indiana team I thought. Was it because you got on them so early?
Well, I think so, and I think they felt, gee whiz, we're not going to have much chance in this game, the way it turned out. Here's another sack. Steve Thibert does a good job coming off the end position there and getting. So we're back here again, and we get the ball late at the 20-yard line. Wanted to get a little field position to decide whether we would try to get another score or go in leading 28. On a 3rd down and 4, Jim's under pressure here and does some scrambling around and puts up one of these Hail Mary passes, and we get behind the defense, and Kenny Higgins catches the ball for a touchdown.
Okay, that late touchdown, just before the half, just a couple seconds remaining, that was a gift. But it had to make you feel, hey, now, we've got this under control. I mean,
right. Well, there's no question the game was under control at halftime. The problem with games like that is you know you're going to win the game. You also know you're going to have a sloppy performance the second half. It happens every single time that you're in a game where you've got the game out of reach for the opponent. When you go out the second half, tried to get them to understand we wanted to do a good job on 1 or 2 drives the second half before we put the other guys in. Unfortunately, we did a poor job.
Well, we'll have a look at the poor job that Michigan did in that second half when the highlights are coming at you on Michigan Replay when we continue.
I think overall we played very well, both offensively and defensively. Another good team win. We got to cut out the mistakes a little bit. It's got to be the most penalized game we've ever had, but you know, those things will happen. I thought it was a good game for us, so it was great. You know, just a great job by Kenny Higgins of getting open, you know, and he had a man on his back, and he just turned and started running for the end zone. I saw him, and I just really let loose of it as far as I could throw it, and you know, just fortunately he caught it. I remember that one for a long time. That was fun.
They ran a lot of 70 today, and against their options, that's a good defense to run the option against, you know. And Jim was giving me the ball, reading it well, and fortunately I was getting the ball and had to get a little speed up, and I was doing okay myself, you know. But that's why I ran the ball, because we ran against that 70 defense, you know. And I knew I was going over because these guys were kind of submarining, you know. So I know I had to go over top to get over those guys. I didn't want to try to run them over, you know. They were too low for me, so I tried to get 2 feet up in the air and jump over.
These are the hands.
Flying around and making big plays that first half. We're getting pretty good pressure, making them throw, you know, places he wanted, and that one with Garland when he intercepted that one.
It was 2 deep coverage, and the quarterback, there was a lot of pressure on him, and I jammed the guy, and I just sit and waited for the ball, and he just threw it, and I was there. You got to take one game at a time. Like the coaches always tell us, the next game is your most important game, and that's the kind of approach we got to take it.
Well, the Wolverines leading 35-0 at halftime, and you mentioned before we went to the break, you know, you just know it's not going to happen for you in the second half. Now, the thing I got to ask you, it's a double-edged sword, because you want to get big lead in the first half, and then you're disappointed with what happens in the second half. How do you...
Well, you know what's going to happen in the second half. What you'd like to do is to give some other people a chance to play. You're worried a little bit that you haven't played your regulars enough, because, you know, that's the only real scrimmage they get during the week. And so we wanted to come out the second half and put one in, and then we would go to the reserves. Unfortunately, we got down with a first down on the 5 and fooled around. Some guy called a pass play. I don't know who that is. We end up way back there and have to end up coming back to the 10 and attempting a field goal and missing it.
But opening the second half, you had to be pleased with the way things were going, because the offense did come out and looked as though they were rolling along real well in their first possession.
Oh, yeah, they moved the ball extremely well. As a matter of fact, we had 2 excellent drives to start the second half. We missed one field goal and then made the next one. Here's Jim throwing to Higgins over here for a first down on a 3rd down situation. Comes back, gives the ball to White. White finds a hole and bangs up there for good yardage. And we're mixing the run and the pass and doing a pretty good job. Here's a bootleg play. Jim goes back and had Jeff Brown wide open. I wish he could have kept the ball up a little bit, because he could have run with it rather than fall down there. But he was wide open, and he made sure he got it in. Here, after we got sacked on there, we threw a screen to Gerald White for a big play that took us down to the 10, and we were forced to go for the field goal and missed it. Now, you get into a tight ball game, and you start missing those chip shots, and you're going to end up losing the game. This is a 3rd and 24 situation. They get sacked. Andy Moeller comes through and sacks him, and so our defense is playing extremely well here in the 3rd period. We get the ball back quickly, and Jim goes right to work. Gets Bob Perriman out in the flat.
Better than 300 yards passing again. You're just getting to be one of those wild coaches that throw it all over the ballpark.
That's right, Jim. And I don't mind that at all, as long as we get 200 yards rushing. Here he throws to John Colasar on the sideline. It's the ability to mix it up that I think gives you an offense that's going to move and score. We got stopped here again, really, and had to go to the field goal and kick the field goal. So by midway through the third quarter, it's 38-0.
Indiana had scored to make it 38-7. This is their second drive with football against your second defense.
Right. And they moved the ball. I'm a little disappointed in our second defense. I used them a lot at Wisconsin. They gave up scores. I used them a lot down here, and they gave up scores again. I really, you know, they get enough practice, they have to be playing better defense.
One of the things, though, you do get out of this kind of situation is the experience in a game.
That's right. There's no question about that. Here they hit a delay over the middle to the fullback, and they're down in there around the 28-yard line. They get down inside the 5 here, and run a little toss sweep, and he runs in for the touchdown for Indiana's first score.
At that point, it's 38-14. It's late in the game, just a couple of minutes left, and Bob Perryman on a big day today.
Yes, here he breaks up the middle, just runs through a couple guys here and takes off. I think he had a little sore leg. Otherwise, I think he broke it out there, got a little more speed than that. But we rushed for over 200 yards, and we passed for 300. So
now here's the Budweiser play of the game.
Jim, this is the broken play of the game. This is not a design play. This is not one that coaches brag about or talk about, that they had some great execution or anything. This is a bomb thrown down there just before the half, and Kenny Higgins is there to catch it. But it's a big play, an exciting play for the fans. So it's our big play of the day, but it is a broken play.
It puts you ahead 35-0, though, which is important.
Right. We'll take it.
You'll take it.
Yeah,
I was going to say, you want to take it back?
We won't turn it back, but we won't brag about our great play.
Okay. What is your philosophy about a game like this? How much did you get out of it? You know, it's like we talked about the highlights. You were pleased with the first half, maybe the best first half you played all year. And yet, there's some things I know that you'd like to see happen.
Well, no coach is ever satisfied with a game. You know, he's satisfied that they won. But the secret to continuing to win is how quickly you can take a victory and put it away and start looking to the next game. Now we got to look forward to Illinois. And that's simply the way you do it. It was great to win it. We had to win it. If we're going to win the championship, we have to win every game we play. And that game, those people were in our way. We had to win the game. So we won the game. Now we got to look forward to the next one.
Okay, and are you where you want to be? I mean, take away the second half, some of the sloppiness. I know the penalties were a problem, but are you where you want to be?
We had 12 penalties in that game. Missed a short field goal, made some bad mistakes. Didn't score a touchdown in the second half. A lot of things that we can build on, that we go to work on. But 12 penalties in that game, Jim, that's astronomical.
Okay, last question, and then we'll get off Indiana. Any injuries? And the key one, I think, Mike Hussar.
Yeah, Hussar is a very key injury. I'm afraid we're going to lose him for a while. I hope it's not too long. He's an important guy in our offensive line, and so that hurts. Believe me, it hurts. We can't afford to get injured. We were going to run on him some, and we wanted to improve our rushing game in this ball game, and decided we were going to run more, although we got 300 yards passing.
Had to be pleased with the defense. Came up with big plays against a team that averaged somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 yards offense.
Right, they had moved the ball almost every one they played, and very well. But we got a key turnover here, came back again. Jim throws over here to Jokic down to the 20-yard line.
On the season following their 38-14 victory over Indiana in Bloomington. And Coach Schembechler, the word was early in the week, you told the team we have to get off and get going early.
Start fast.
They certainly got it started in a hurry.
Well, we hadn't done that this year. You know, we'd always started off slowly, made mistakes, ended up going in at halftime with trailing or just a slight lead. And so our...
to play, especially on the ground.
Well, we got field position early, Jim. After we kicked to them and stopped them, and they punted us, we had good field position. Jamie Morris broke a play up the middle here for good yardage. And but that was key, having field position, making a big play right there, and then Gerald White breaks out up the middle here for a good gain. We're down in there close, ready to score.
And you went over the middle throughout the entire first drive. Was that planned?
Right. Our cry for this week was start fast.
Why was it important to you against Indiana to get going early?
Because you're playing on the road. You're playing against a team that feels they have a chance for an upset. You have to take over that stadium and make sure that they understand from the very beginning that you're in here to win the game. And when you start fast, it takes them right out of the game quickly.
Well, there's no question your opening series, your offense was dominant, and you let them know early that we're here.
So we're down in there ready to score. 3rd and 2, the option play. Jim comes out here and showed great unselfishness there. Should have run in himself.
Would you have rather had him run in himself?
I mentioned something to him about I would appreciate it if he'd run it in himself. But that's one of those things. Under pressure here, the quarterback throws the ball. Garland Rivers intercepts for Michigan.